Have you ever wondered if there are certain private matters that should never be exposed once you reach old age? As the years go by, it becomes more important than ever to guard not just your health and finances, but also your dignity, your personal boundaries, and the stories you choose to share. What you decide to keep private can protect your relationships, your peace of mind, and even your legacy. In this video, we're going to uncover 5 private matters you must not expose in old age. Each of these can quietly affect how people see you, how you feel about yourself, and the respect you receive from others. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand why keeping these things private is vital, but you'll also feel more confident in protecting your own life story. Stay tuned until the end because these insights will help you hold on to your dignity, strengthen your relationships, and give you peace knowing you're living with wisdom. Now, let's get started. Number 1. Financial struggles. One of the first private matters older men and women should be careful not to expose too openly is the full extent of their financial struggles. Money is deeply personal at any stage of life. But in older age, being too open about debts, savings, or lack of income can sometimes invite more problems than solutions. While it is natural to want to share burdens, speaking too freely about financial hardship may cause others to see you as vulnerable or worse, as someone to take advantage of. This does not mean you should hide your reality from those you trust most, but it does mean being selective. Friends, neighbors, and casual acquaintances do not need to know exactly how much you have in the bank or whether you are worried about making ends meet. Psychologically, keeping financial matters private helps maintain a sense of independence and dignity even when times are tight. The truth is, the less others know about your finances, the more control you retain over your life. Take the example of Harold, age 82. In his early retirement years, he made the mistake of talking too openly about his savings at community gatherings. Soon enough, he began receiving endless pitches for investments, requests for loans, and even subtle pressure from relatives who assumed he had plenty to spare. Over time, Harold realized that his openness had cost him peace of mind. These days, he shares financial details only with his most trusted family members and his financial advisor, and he feels far more secure. The lesson here is simple money talk should stay within safe boundaries. Sharing every detail can open doors to judgment or even exploitation. While discretion protects not only your finances but also your reputation. As you age, you want people to see your wisdom and presence, not to measure you by your wallet. Protecting this private matter allows you to live with confidence, knowing that your dignity and independence remain intact. Number 2. Family conflicts. Another private matter that should be guarded closely in old age is the conflicts that happen within your family. Every family has disagreements, whether about money, caregiving responsibilities, or old resentments that never seem to fade. But once you reach later life, speaking too openly about those conflicts to outsiders can do more harm than good. It may create gossip, damage the reputation of loved ones, and even erode the respect to others have for you. There is a natural urge to vent when tension rises, especially if you feel misunderstood or hurt by children, grandchildren, or relatives. Yet revealing these struggles publicly often leaves scars that cannot easily be repaired. Psychologically, older adults who share too many family disputes may begin to feel regret as what was once a private matter becomes a story repeated by others without care. Family issues are sensitive and airing them widely can deepen divides instead of bringing healing. Take Margaret, age 79. She once shared with neighbors about arguments between her 2 adult sons, believing she was simply explaining why she felt stressed. Soon those neighbors began discussing her family behind closed doors, and the story spread in ways Margaret never intended. Her sons eventually heard about it, and instead of bringing them closer, it made the conflict worse. Margaret later realized that holding certain matters private would have preserved dignity for both herself and her children. Keeping family disagreements private is not about denying the truth, but about choosing the right place and the right people to confide in. Trusted confidence counselors or spiritual advisors can offer a safe space to talk, but the general public does not need to know the details. Protecting these matters shows maturity and it helps preserve unity for the generations that follow. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 3. Past mistakes. As the years pass, it becomes tempting for older men and women to revisit the choices they made long ago. Sometimes these stories slip out during conversations with neighbors, acquaintances, or even strangers. But not every part of your past needs to be exposed. Sharing old mistakes too freely can cause others to see you through the lens of regret rather than the wisdom you have gained in old age. Constantly rehearsing the darker parts of the past may do little more than stir unnecessary judgment or pity. This is not to say you should bury your history. The truth is everyone has chapters they wish had been written differently, but discretion matters. You can acknowledge the lessons you learned without providing every painful detail. Psychologically, retelling mistakes in the wrong setting can reinforce guilt and keep you tied to old wounds rather than the growth that followed. By choosing what to share and what to hold back, you protect your dignity and keep the focus on the wisdom your experiences have given you. Consider Leonard, now 85, in his 70s. He often spoke openly about his failures in business and the pain of a broken marriage, hoping that honesty would connect him with others. Instead, he found people responding with pity or quiet judgment. And some even treated him as though he were fragile or incapable. Over time, Leonard learned that he could talk about resilience, perseverance, and the lessons he gained without revealing every personal failure. By reframing his story, he began to inspire others instead of diminishing himself. The key is balance. Share enough of your story to pass on wisdom, but do not expose details that strip away your sense of strength. At 80 or beyond, people look to you as a source of guidance and perspective. Protecting the privacy of your past mistakes ensures that your legacy reflects resilience rather than regret. Your life should be remembered for how you overcame, not for how you fell. Number 4. Health struggles in detail. As men and women grow older, health naturally becomes a more frequent topic of conversation. It is common to mention an ache here, a doctor's visit there, or the daily challenges of medication. Yet one private matter that should not be shared too openly is the full detail of your health struggles. Talking excessively about illness, test results, or every discomfort can unintentionally shift how others see you. Instead of being valued for your wisdom, your humor, or your companionship, you risk being defined only by your ailments. Psychologically, dwelling on health issues in every conversation can also reinforce a mindset of decline rather than vitality. When you speak constantly about illness, you keep both yourself and others focused on limitation instead of resilience. While it is natural to want sympathy, overexposure of personal health details may bring pity rather than respect. Protecting the privacy of your health allows you to control the narrative of your life and emphasize the qualities that still shine strong. Think about Samuel, age 81. In his late 70s, he found himself discussing his blood pressure, his arthritis, and his digestion. And almost daily with neighbors and acquaintances. Over time, people began avoiding longer conversations with him, assuming every interaction would be centered on complaints. When Samuel decided to keep health details private, focusing instead on sharing stories and interests, he noticed that his social life revived. People wanted to be around him again, and he felt more alive in return. Of course, there are times when honesty is necessary with doctors, caregivers, or close family who need to understand your condition. But broadcasting every detail to the world is unnecessary and unhelpful. Maintaining privacy in this area preserves dignity and keeps you from being reduced to a list of symptoms. At 80 and beyond, your presence is far greater than your health record. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 5. Private resentments. One of the most damaging private matters to expose in old age is deep resentments that you may still carry. Over the years, many people accumulate disappointments, relationships that failed, opportunities missed, or grievances that were never resolved. While it can feel satisfying in the moment to speak openly about those hurts, revealing them repeatedly can trap you in bitterness and cause others to view you as harsh or unforgiving. At this stage of life, the way you handle old resentments often shapes how others remember you. Psychologically, holding on too tightly to grievances keeps you emotionally tied to the very situations that cause pain. Sharing these negative stories too freely does not bring freedom. It only spreads the weight to those who listen. Instead of bonding with others, it can push them away, making them reluctant to spend time with someone who seems stuck in anger or regret. Take Helen, age 84. 4 years, she often spoke about how her sister had wronged her decades ago. Even though much of her life was filled with joy, people began to associate her mainly with those old complaints. When Helen finally chose to stop sharing those resentments publicly and focus on gratitude, her relationships brightened. Friends enjoyed her company again, and she found herself lighter, no longer rehearsing the past at every opportunity. Protecting private resentments does not mean denying what happened, but it does mean refusing to let those stories define your final chapters. Forgiveness, or at least letting go of constant retelling, allows your presence to radiate peace instead of pain. In old age, people look to you not just for memories, but for perspective. By guarding these private feelings, you show strength, maturity, and wisdom, leaving behind a legacy of calm rather than conflict. Shimmer of final thoughts. As we wrap up this video, think carefully about the 5 private matters we have explored. Each one is a reminder that old age is not only about what you share, but also about what you choose to protect. What stood out to you the most? Do you see yourself in any of these examples? Or do you feel inspired to guard certain parts of your life more carefully moving forward? The truth is, dignity in later years is often built on discretion. By keeping financial struggles, family conflicts, past mistakes, health details, and private resentments from being exposed too openly, you protect your peace of mind and ensure that others see you for your strength and wisdom rather than your vulnerabilities. This is not about silence, but about wisdom in choosing when and with whom to share the deeper parts of your story. Remember, the goal of old age is not just to look back, but to live with confidence in the present. By guarding these private matters, you strengthen your relationships, preserve respect, and create a legacy of calm and strength for those who love you. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.